Hi, this is Joy Farrington, your Lit Diva, and thank you so much to be in the first episode of the Write Your Book in 30 Day podcast show. Today is October 1st, the first day in our Write Your Book in 30 Day challenge, which ends on October 30th, and I have to tell you, I am super excited to get this started. We had so much fun during our last challenge in July, and I just know it's just going to get better and better. So for those who don't know me, I'll formally introduce myself. My name is Joy Farrington, aka Joy the Lit Diva, and I'm an Amazon best-selling author. I'm also the president of Lit Diva Inc., which is a company that offers administrative and author services to authors, speakers, and coaches. And I'm going to serve as your book coach for the Write Your Book in 30 Day Challenge. Now, the Write Your Book in 30 Day Challenge was created by Andrew Morrison, and the purpose of the challenge was to help entrepreneurs write a book that brand their brilliance. Andrew likes to say brand your brilliance, which means to take what you know and put it in the forefront for everyone to see. And it's also a way for you to get into your audience minds in a way that complements not only your business, but also you're solving a problem from them. And people love problem solvers. People love having, I don't want to say easy fix, but a step-by-step guide to solving a problem. Just look at Oprah Life Class and see how popular that is. It's because Oprah is solving a problem in an indirect way. She's bringing them guests on the show that address different things. Like lately she was talking about vulnerability, so that's a problem that people have. So during the show, they talked about that. It solves a problem. There's an audience out there who have a problem. We all have a problem. It's just different from everyone. And your job is not only to find out what that problem is, but write a book that solves it in such a way that it brings more business to you in different ways. Now, being an author, it has a wealth of benefits. It stamps you as an expert in your field. It helps you with booking media engagements because everybody loves having an author on their show. And you'll be surprised, honestly, if you don't have a book already, once you do have a book, the respect that people give you just by you saying I'm an author is amazing, which is why we say a book is a new business card, because it is. By having a book, it outweighs any other type of introduction. If you're at a networking event and you say, oh yeah, and I'm an author, that starts a whole new conversation. They want to know about your book. And of course, your book is in some way tied to your business. And people are more interested in something that's tangible. So when you're talking about your business, it's in the abstract form, right? It's not something that you could just show me. It's not a show me type of a job when you're at a networking event. But you could show them a book. If you're trying to book a speaking engagement, you could show them, like, look, I'm the author of this book, 12 Steps to Such and Such. And I have a speaking format for this, and I would love to speak to your audience about this. And that's a way for you to get booking engagements. With a book, you could also build a author platform. A platform is basically you're taking your brand and you're taking it to different levels. So, for example, you may say, okay, I have a book, I have a business, now what? So now what would be your website? Again, speaking engagements. It could be media engagements, like I mentioned before. More books, e-courses, home study courses. You're building everything on top of what you wrote. So when you're writing, which I'm getting ahead of myself, but basically when you're writing your book, think about all the options and the possibilities in front of you and see if you could kind of seep that into your writing. Okay? So, again, this is week 1 in the Write Your Book in 30 Day Challenge. And I have to say, if you never wrote a book before, you're in for a treat. And if you have wrote a book before, but you never wrote one in such a short time frame, you may lose your mind. You may have to be admitted to the asylum. It's a crazy experience. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. There's no way to sugarcoat it. Today, day 1, you're all excited. You're like, yes, I'm gonna do it. And probably as soon as you stop listening to this show, you may pull out your journals. You may start writing. You may run over to Office Depot and buy all kinds of stuff for your books, journals, binders, whatever you need. Right? Open up your laptop, get started, and you're excited. By day 12, You're going to have your head on the table. You're going to be pulling your hair out. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be cursing me out. You're going to be posting in Facebook groups, help, I need help. It is such an experience. But by the end of the 30 days, you're going to be so proud of yourself. I guarantee it. Stick to it. By the end of 30 days, you will be an author. That is something that no one can take away from you. The stats is that 81% of Americans want to write a book. But can you imagine if 81% of Americans actually wrote the book, we'll be overwhelmed with books. We'll be stepping on books as we walk into work. So that's not the case. Not everybody, even though they may have that dream or the idea of writing a book, not everyone has the guts to do it. You being on this show, just listening to the show, proves that you have the guts to do it. So now it's a matter of sticking to the action and getting it completed. So I mentioned the tears. I mentioned there's moments you're going to want to throw your laptop through the window. Don't do it. It's expensive. Keep it on the desk. You're going to need it because there's going to be times when you're going to wonder if what you're doing is right. And I promise you it is. There's going to be times when you're going to doubt yourself. You're going to start questioning if what you're writing could hurt other people. There's been instances, especially in the last group, where people were writing personal stories and they were scared to publish it. And I know one person in particular sent me her entire book, and it was beautiful, but she was scared to publish it because of what was inside the book, the content. Writing a book is very personal. As I mentioned before with Oprah Life Class, vulnerability, you're becoming very vulnerable in writing a book. Even though you may be writing a business book, for those who are writing nonfiction books, it's still a vulnerable process because you're letting somebody into your mind. You're letting someone into your soul. So don't underestimate that process. I want you to be prepared for it because it's something that you need to be prepared for. And I don't want you to be scared that when you're done with your book, you're too scared to publish it. If you work so hard at it, put it out there. And there may be people that are not happy with what you wrote, but honestly, think about it. If what they did was so awful that you felt like you had to write it out of your system so you could live, why are you so concerned about what they think? So keep that in mind. For those of you who are writing autobiographies, you may want to keep that in mind, but also just be aware that things happen. The term is, haters. Haters will pop up. Don't cultivate haters. I don't suggest that at all, but it do happen. So I want you to be prepared for that. So is writing a book, becoming an author, is it worth it? Yes. Is all the frustration you're going to go through worth it? Yes. I promise you it will, because becoming an author is an instant branding of being an expert. No way about it. Just thinking about all the famous people, again, Oprah. I think just about every guest she ever had on her show had a book. Every expert that she had on there had a book. If they didn't have a book, by the time they were done on her show, there's publishers knocking on her door saying, I want to write your book. I want you to write a book. Because a book is a stamp that you're an expert, and also in a business sense is a way to have another stream of income coming in. Your book sells on its own. You're asleep, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, somebody in India or in Bahamas or Jamaica is buying your book. The internet never sleeps. So keep that in mind. If you're looking for another stream of income, a book is a great way to go. And again, a book is something that you could build on. So you could have podcast shows. You could have home study courses. You could have all these different things just based on a book. And you may think to yourself, well, my book is, $12.99. How much money can I make off of that? You might not make any money off your book. It may be the book itself is not your money maker. But the speaking engagements that you get because of it is, you might start speaking at $5,000, $10,000 per speaking engagement. That far outweighs the book. So again, a book is a new business card. There's no way around it. Don't underestimate that ever. So during this challenge, we ask you to not only create an ebook, but a printed book. And the reason why we do that is because Once you have one, it's so easy to take the one form and turn to another. And you have audience who like both forms. So you can't just say, I'm just going to create an ebook, because you have people who like printed books. And again, a printed book is a tangible form. So I want to talk about the why you want to write the book. You know, maybe you have, like I mentioned before, a story you have to tell, or you have such a wealth of knowledge. There's so many people out there that just know so much stuff. They may not have a degree. They may be young. They may be in their early 20s. They may be in their late 80s, but their knowledge far outweighs anything that the job title says about them. And maybe that person is you. And maybe you're that person that writes that book that changed the world. Okay. Whatever your why is, that's going to be your passion. That's going to keep you up and going. That's going to be the reason why you started writing this challenge. You started this challenge to begin with, and why you're writing your book. So once you know your why, you need to figure out your who, your what, and your how. But before I get started with the who, what, and how, because we only have, only about 15 more minutes left. For those who are listening, I have a mastermind class that I'm starting this Friday. You could join by going to eventbrite.com. fallrightin30/eventbrite.com or litdiva.com/podcast. The information is there. It's every Friday. Each class is $27, or you could buy the entire group for $97. It's far more extensive than this. It's hands-on. I'm your book coach. I'm helping you every week, and at the cost is minimum, trust me. And it's going to be an hour and a half each. Some sessions are going to be 6 hours because we're going to do an extensive writing session. Please, I promise you, it's worth the money. Those who participated in the e-courses last for the summer challenge did phenomenal. They were the ones who were posting, I completed my book. So again, I guarantee it's worth your time, it's worth your money. So going back, I want to talk about